Alright guys, welcome back to Conqueror and Commander. Today I'm going to be talking about my Vish Kal Blood Arbiter deck. If you want to see the deck printed up nice and neat, go to puremtgo.com. You'll see it looking like this, with everything you're going to want and need in order to build the deck. This is a deck that that I began working on like a year ago, and I never really got around to playing it. And with each new set, I'd take stuff out and put stuff in, and I just never got around to actually like doing anything with it. And I finally decided, you know what, I'm going to pick it up, see what I can do, and go with it. And basically what I wanted to do was give Vish Kal stuff to eat, because obviously he likes being fed creatures, and along with that, get some recursion going as well. So it's a little bit of a controlling deck. Obviously, you're going to need... Vish Kal is not a cheap commander, but he does have lifelink and flying, so hopefully that's going to help you out once you get him out. So let's just look at what we got going on here. This row is all my destruction. It's everything from Graveyard Hate to from Bujikabog and Withered Wretch to Strip Mine. Oblivion Stone will wipe everything out. Swords of Plowshares is nice pinpoint destruction. Oblation is a card that I haven't really played with much, and I liked it just because it can get rid of any sort of non-land permanent and not just commanders. So I figured I'd give it a shot, and it turned out alright. Return to Dust, Wrath of God, Archon of Justice, Martial Coup blows up the table and leaves creatures behind. Sunblast Angel is a nice enter the battlefield guy. Mortify, Necrotic Sliver, Vindicate. Necrotic Sliver is great with stuff like Sun Titan and additional ways to bring it back, so I really liked him. Angel of Despair. Deathbringer Liege is just a card that I wanted to play with. The ability to kill tapped creatures is always nice and fun. Phyrexian Reclamation doesn't belong there. He belongs in the recursion section over here, along with Animate Dead. But Nezumi Graverobber does steal stuff from graveyards, and Withered Wretch does as well. And it's important to have the stuff that gets rid of things in graveyards for a specific card that I'll mention in a little bit. Vish Kal does cost a lot of mana, so this is all mana help stuff. Crypt Gas, Tithe, Expedition Map, Soul Ring, Journeyer's Kite, Wayfarer's Bauble. There's not much in the way of ramps. Wayfarer's Bauble acts as the sole real ramp that I have in the deck. Signet, Ingot, Satchel can ramp or give a creature, so I like that. Pilgrim's Eye, Simulacrum, Thawing Glaciers. That's pretty standard stuff. With the Crypt Ghast kind of being the only iffy card, but there's enough swamps where it's worthwhile for me. There's a decent amount of recursion in here as well, with Ameria and Volrath Stronghold being number 1. Karmic Guide, Sun Titan, Treasury Thole. I liked the fact that he had Extort number 1, and I also liked that I was able to return an artifact, creature, or enchantment card back to my graveyard, or back from my graveyard to my hand. And I just wish he was a little bigger. 4/4 isn't always big enough. But you know what? He's a Thrall. He's big. I liked him. Corpse Dance is a lot of fun with stuff like Necrotic Sliver. And in addition, when you have a sacrifice outlet out there, like Vish Kal or something like that, usually he's worth buying back for enters the battlefield effects as well. Necromancy works well with Sun Titan, as does Animate Dead. God, I'm messing up my piles here, really. I don't know what I'm doing here. Puppeteer Click, steal stuff from graveyards, and then Animate Dead and Phyrexian Reclamation are all good as well. In the token area, I've got Kildoran Outpost, Mimic Vat, Requiem Angel, because there is going to be a bunch of stuff dying, and so I'm going to be able to get White Spirit tokens out there. Hero of Blade Hold and Ameria Angel are also decent token producers. Finally, I've got Tombstone Stairwell. The Stairwell is awesome if you get it out with Vish Kal, because it's just going to make him huge. You're going to sacrifice all those little dudes to make Vish Kal real big. And this is also why you want some of the Graveyard Hate available, so that other people don't have as many creatures in their graveyards as you do. It's even better when you have Requiem Angel out as well. I did manage to pull that off, and it lasted for like 2 turns before somebody got rid of the Angel, and that was pretty sweet. Card draw isn't as strong in this deck, mainly because I've got all the interactions with the graveyard and recursion. I do have Harvester of Souls, Promise of Power, Bloodgift Demon, and Graveborn Muse, Skull Clamp, and Phyrexian Arena. I've only got two forms of tutoring, Stoneforge Mystic and Demonic Tutor. The Mystic, because I do have 4 pieces of equipment in the deck that are pretty decent, Skull Clamp and Blade of the Blood Chief, which is over here. The Blade is actually great to put on Vish Kal, but it does work with some of my other stuff as well. All these are kind of like my life gain aspects. Viscopa Guildmage is awesome, giving anything lifelink, and if you do have a creature with lifelink, you can use his second ability, and it works out really well. Vampire Nighthawk is good. Sarah Ascendant and Kokusho. Cocoa Puffs works out really well in this deck, especially with the recursion I have available. Finally, this is sort of like my catch-all here. Mikaeus gives your stuff Undying, so you can sacrifice something big to Vish Kal and get it back. Bloodghast is great with Skull Clamp and can be Vish Kal food if necessary. Silverblade Paladin makes Vish Kal huge. Preacher can steal stuff to feed to Vish Kal. Blade of the Blood Chief I already talked about. Bone Horde is just a good late game creature, and not only can you cast it, you can sacrifice the token to Vish Kal and then equip it to Vish Kal, and it just makes him really huge all of a sudden. And he's one of the reasons why Stoneforge Mystic is in the deck. The lands are pretty basic. It's Maze of Ith and High Market and Deserted Temple are in here to really abuse Falling Glaciers and these other cards. I do have Reliquary Tower. Mirren's another sacrifice outlet, and I have Winding Canyons in the deck just because I wanted to try it, but I never really had the chance to use it. There are 40 lands in the deck because the deck is pretty mana hungry. Let's see, there's also Shizo. So let's just take a look at the stats here real quick. The average CMC is 3.29. The curve actually looks kind of like a curve. It is heavy at the 6th end, which is, I guess, to be expected. There's nothing over 7. But, you know, you're using your mana almost every turn. And it's pretty even between the black and white aspects of the deck. There are 29 creatures in the deck. I tried to keep the creature count kind of high just so that Tombstone Stairwell could be effective. So this is not a particularly fast deck. If you want a faster or aggro deck, this isn't the deck to look for. This is also kind of boned to a lot of combo decks out there. But it is a battle cruiser kind of deck in terms of, like, once you get Vish Kal out there, he is a serious threat, and people are scared of him. So, you know, you do tend to lose life early with this deck, and fortunately Vish Kal has lifelink and can bring all that life back. Anyways, it's a fun deck. I enjoyed it. It does have a lot of graveyard shenanigans, so when people wipe out graveyards, that's a pretty big problem with the deck. You know, just like Carador or something like that, it really likes its graveyard. So that's kind of frustrating when that happens. And, you know, it's bound to happen. It does have a decent amount of enters the battlefield guys. Alright, hope you enjoy it.